In fairness, I would say no, I have not spent the old notes. But from today, after the pronouncement of the CBN, I mean, from the CBN, let's see what happens from now. Let's be positive.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens because it's been over a week since the Supreme Court's place made the directive. So a Nigerian saying that the CBN is above the Supreme Courts. That's that's what I find very, very interesting. I mean, Cees, what do you think?
Well, I hope this whole issue of Naira scarcity is finally going to be put to rest. People are suffering. Yeah, people are suffering. A situation where you have to buy money to spend and not buying it at a cheap rate. No, it is expensive. Sometimes you get up to 50%. Yes, the price of what you want to use. It's so bad. And small businesses have particularly been suffering seriously. And I hope this is finally put to rest. But it leaves some issues unanswered. This was a CBN directive, and the CBN is responsible for monetary policies. Now, does this impinge on the independence of the CBN? Because if they came up with this policy and the CBN and the Supreme Court can decide, no, this is the time and this is the limit you should have, then somehow it puts to question the independence of the CBN, and that leaves much to desire. Maybe let's look at it for posterity's sake. Let's look at how it pans out. Maybe the CBN finally decided to bolt because there's just not enough money available for transactions out there. I saw this picture on the internet of the old Naira notes shredded. There have been some claims that what was mopped up from the public was actually already shredded. That's the reason why the CBN had not said anything about or had not obeyed the court order, the Supreme Court's order. Where is this money going to come from? Do they still have some in stock? Well, let's watch and see.
All right, Cees, if I may come in here, I just want you, I'd like to bring in the list now so they can be part of this conversation. Then before I get back to the next question, you can be part of the conversation by sending us WhatsApp messages on 0809 444 0981. The numbers, once again, to be part of Business Express this morning will be on 0809 444 0981. Why has this taken the CBN and the presidency this long to react, to get things moving once again? Because just yesterday, we heard the governor of Anambra State speaking as if it was the PRO to the CBN governor. And then there was, somebody probably debunking that never came from them. And then the presidency also issued a statement saying, well, you see, we are not stopping the CBN from doing their job. And then later on, boom, the son of Emefiele spoke, and then it says, let there be Naira, old Naira everywhere. And then so here we are this morning.
It's been interesting. The governors have been doing all they can to convince their polity to use the notes. You had El Rufai in Kaduna, but people in Kaduna were not using the old notes. You now have Soludo in Anambra urging, basically begging his own constituents to use the old notes. Yes. They aren't doing it. You had Sanwo-Olu in Lagos yesterday put out a series of tweets pleading with Lagosians. In fact, he even said that any bank that doesn't issue old notes or something, they'll close it down. So you've had governors using carrot and stick in their different states. But the main thing here, I went to 3 establishments yesterday. I got a haircut, I went to get some food, also went to get water from another place. None of them accepted the old notes. And what I'm hearing is that it's not just the businesses themselves, it is their suppliers. So every one of these, if you think about those big giant lorries that deliver soft drinks to markets, or any of the other vendors that deliver supplies to these particular businesses, it is them that's not accepting these notes. And I think it is because after all this time has passed, a lot of people have already deposited their old notes. I only found some notes in my trouser pockets when washing clothes, but it wasn't that much because I already deposited most everybody has deposited their old notes. And the issue now is getting the new notes from the banks, because the supply, they're only giving out like 10,000 here, 5,000 here, very little amounts. So it's the supply issue. So the Supreme Court giving this directive is facing up against two hurdles. One is supply, and I think maybe even more importantly is the whole legal tender aspect of this, where businesses, there was one supermarket though on Saturday that was collecting old notes, although I still used my debit card. But aside from them, I'm not seeing any other businesses accepting it. So I think that is what's Cees, I don't know what your experience has been with old notes, but if you even still have any. But it's the key thing, I think, the cocoa of the matter is going to be whether businesses. I used a downfall boss last week, and he wouldn't accept if I owed 500 Naira notes. He said no, that he wants a lower tender, so 100 or 200. So acceptance still sees. I think that is still the issue here.
No, but Cees, they were saying what they were waiting for is for the central bank to issue a statement, then they can start, accepting it.
Yeah, I think the issue was hearing from the central bank, and I think now that we have heard from the central bank, this issue will be put to rest, because I've heard about, in fact, banks, they say the commercial banks have been issuing, some of them, not all, have been issuing the old Naira notes on demand, but they will caution you, we are giving you, but we won't accept it from you. So with that, people have been skeptical. If you can give me something that you won't accept, then why should I take it from another person? So since the CBN is actually the issue of the money, they determine which money is legal tender, which is not, in my thinking, and not the Supreme Court. I think the CBN decided finally to obey, because their backs are actually against the wall. The people are suffering. They don't have enough of the new Naira notes. And that may just be the reason why they have decided finally to budge. But
it's interesting because you are Nairametrics and we're talking Naira matters. So help us take the metrics into the impact this would have on small scale businesses. How long do you think this will take for them to recover when, over this Naira episode and scarcity?
Look, Nigerians are known to adapt easily, and I think just within a week, wherever that money is, it will come out. Some people have it in like Rotus. Rotus has a few pieces of so that would be if he decides to use it today or tomorrow. Once people get to hear the CBN's pronouncement, they will begin to accept it, and the banks also, whatever stock they have, they will begin to release it, and the money will be accepted.
Okay, I'll come to you quickly, but let's just get on to a few messages we've got here now from the listener. I've got Ogenachukwu here with this message saying that, what a pathetic parting policy. Baba go slow, as usual, is absorbing himself from the cash crunch. Very unfortunate. The policy would have been successful if the online payment option is effective. That's from Ogenachukwu. And I've also this one from Benga Kamu, and he says, are there no consequences for anything like this? The pain and suffering was just too much. It will take time for people to start collecting the old notes, still have 2K of his old notes. So he says, yeah. And yeah, okay. And let's see one more. Afis comes in with this one saying, good morning, Rotus. I think the CBN, the reason why CBN has kept mute for a long time is because they were not joined in the suit. Afis from Aja. Let's go to Harmon to help us react to this. The federal government, you are an agent of the federal government, so we need to join you, especially for you to obey a court order. Harmon, what do you say to this?
Pardon, I didn't get you clearly.
Someone here raised a question. Fees from Ajay says the reason why the CBN did not react on time to the court judgment was because they were not a party to the suit in the Supreme Court. Now, the CBN is supposed to be an agent of the federal government, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's some complications there. They're an agent of the federation. There's a bit of nuance there, where they're an agent of the federation and not exactly the federal government. All that legal stuff, I don't like to wade into it. But I think the main thing going forward now is that the Supreme Court order needed to be obeyed, and there was obvious delays, and the delays were causing confusion in the marketplace. And now that we've heard from the central bank, my main thing is whether businesses are going. If the businesses start accepting it, then that's fine. But then another thing is, are we now going to have a marketplace where you've got old and new notes circulating at the same time? That is going to be really interesting to see how we conduct business going forward, because it's got to be one or the other. To have both old notes and new notes, that is 200, 500, 1,000 old, 200, 500, 1,000 new. So those 6 of them are there, all in the us using that as legal term. I think that is very, very interesting to see how that flows, how that goes going forward.
But
another interesting thing, Rotus, to me is finally, what has been achieved from all of this? Because with the objective of the central bank, according to pronouncement by Godwin Emefiele, was that, look, we want to put criminals out of business. We want to mop up the Naira so that we will be able to control monetary policies. With the 6 currencies, there's the six notes henceforth going to be flowing in the economy. Will all of that be achieved? Have they been able to mop up enough? The criminals may still be in possession of what they had. So what has all of this achieved? That remains to be answered.
In 20 seconds, Harmon, the CBN did not address cash withdrawal limit in that circular issued yesterday. So why were they silent on that?
That is another confusion. But the amount, for daily transaction, in my opinion, Rotus may have his own opinion on that, but the amount that was allowed to be withdrawn from the banks daily, I think it's enough for daily transaction, especially, except for businesses, so be it small business or big business, but the amount was not a bad way. It's just that people were not able to get that amount from the banks or from the POS points.
Okay, we must leave it here. But Rotus, I just want to inform you, Abdul Kadir is sending a message. Someone said Abdul Kadir sent a message saying, countering what you were saying, with your worries about having the old 100 and this 200 and all of those circulating at the same time. It says we had the new and the old 100 Naira notes in circulation during the centenary anniversary. So we shouldn't worry about that. There's a way we can take care of that. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. That's all we can take on Business Express this morning. Rotus, have a great day, and Harmon, have a great day.
Have a great day.